Okay, so let's lift a leg on one of these caps and give it a check. And we'll, once we do and put it back, we'll check the bias too. Maybe that is another reason why things are a bit gainy. But it could also be because these coupling. I ran out of space on my phone again. Okay, so yeah, so we just lifted this positive leg of the cathode bypass cap for V2A, and we will see how it reads on the Sencor LC53. So negative, positive. And these are rated for 25 volts, so we maybe I'll pull this down so you can see. Like a little toy. It's a bit tight up here. Don't want to send anything flying. Why don't I just do it and then pan the camera over instead of possibly destroy something? That would be smart. Or I'll just grab the camera and go handheld. Alright. So yeah, we're going to measure this half of this cap here. So we'll check its value, and we set to 25 volt here, so we're not going to exceed it during the test because these are rated for 25 volts. So the value is supposed to be 25 microfarad, and it is, yeah, almost 40. Yeah, so that's drifted high, not great. And then we'll do a leakage test. Switch it to electrolytic, and what we want to see is a very low number. At first it will possibly be high and then start rapidly going down if it's good. If it stays high, we don't want that. Okay, so not leaky. That's pretty good. We can check the chart, but if it settles down around 100 or so, it's probably fine. Yeah. I think leakage wise we're fine, which is probably why we weren't getting hum or anything, but yeah, great. But capacitance wise, it's you know, not within 10%. 10% would be 2750. 20% would be 30. So it's like, you know, approaching 80% off. And that's just not how this circuit was designed. So I would say that we should take them out carefully and beautifully, put them in a bag, and save them for if some weird collector wants old caps that aren't in spec anymore. You know, just in case there's sort of a collectability value situation at hand. But I would say those are ready to not be in the amp anymore. Okay, so then I will solder this lead back in, fire up the amp again, and I've got the bias probes hooked up now. I'll check the bias and make sure that's working, that the pod is working for us, and hope I'm not flipping shit upside down here. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop this lead back in. So that we have a working cap in the circuit. Cool. Maybe I'll touch it up in case you don't want to replace them. I'll just make sure that solder joint is happy. Okay, then we'll plug in. Get any danger zones out of the way. Put in a dummy though, just in case. And no obstacles. Reverb will make noise with no pan plugged in, so I'll turn that down. This is just really to check the bias here. And we can also see what kind of startup voltage these caps are getting hit with. These caps that are probably coming out. Okay. Okay, here comes some plate voltage. $100, $200, $400, $430. Should start coming back down now. $430 at 22, 23. So this is biased, very hot. So we'll let it warm up more. It might even go higher, but typically 6v6 tubes, even modern ones like this, are rated for max 14 watts. The old ones are rated for 12. And you want your max plate dissipation set by your bias here to be at the most 70% of 14 watts. So currently we're at 10 watts per tube, which is well above 70%. It should be more like 8.8 or something like that. So we could trim the bias back to something respectable. You're not going to notice a change in feel or tone. You're just going to notice a change in how often you have to swap your power tubes out and get new ones because you've burnt them out. But yeah, it's settling in at about 430 volts. They're well matched, which is good. These tubes are a fairly even match. But yeah, you're looking at 425, 430, which is good. At 22 milliamps, 23 milliamps, which is just on the hot side. So if you pull that back to 19 and you got 8, maybe 9 max watts on each tube, then you're right in the sweet spot. Like from the factory, this would have shipped way lower. Like sometimes they were sending them out 50% max plate dissipation, so 7 watts per tube. So you know, 8 is sort of like the upper end of what's healthy for a tube and sounds awesome. So won't tweak it yet, but that's my recommended bias adjustment. And I guess just because your last bias pot did fail, we might as well give it a quick check to make sure this thing isn't unstable. Give it a little tweak. It's all, nothing's jumping around. So if I cool the bias off, both sides cool. If I heat it up, both sides heat up. So I'll leave it where it was for now at 21, 22. And then I'll send you these videos and you can tell me what you want to do.